Good morning. You know what time it is? It's coffee time. That's right, with Michael Sanchez. Morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today on this beautiful Tuesday morning? It's gonna be a nice day, a beautiful day. Gonna be up near 80, I think, today. So that's good. That's good. So I'm happy about that. Anyway, I'm happy that I'm here today. Uh, got my panel here from last week or the week before that. Anyway, I'm glad you guys are here. I got Lorraine Carey, author Lorraine Carey. I got author Eva Bielby, all the way from the UK. I got Dale Phillips, author Dale Phillips will be here as well, and author Jeff Otis will be here as well. Well, today's topic is going to be titled Hidden Messages, or as people call it, Easter eggs. Easter eggs, which is interesting. I have that article here. It says 5 reasons why writers should include literary Easter eggs in their books. The author of this article says these tasty nuggets can be anything from an inside joke, references to other books and works of art, or even a secret message. Such subtle allusions add an extra layer to any story and can be quite powerful tools in a writer's kit. Robin Yetman wrote that, so that's interesting. But we're going to hear more insight from the authors that I mentioned, see what they have to say about that. And I always find that interesting. I always try to find that stuff out when I'm reading a book or whatnot, see what I can find, hidden nuggets there, you know what I mean? Anyway, let's see what they got to say and go from there. Let's see. Lala, you there?
I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Eva, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Michael.
Hey, hey, how you doing?
I'm all right, thank you.
Nice. Dale, you there? Dale. Hey, Dale, you there? Dale, you there? Dale. Oh, he muted himself again. What is he be? Jeff, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, Michael.
Hey, how's it going? I'll try
Pretty good.
Dale. Dale, you there? Dale. Dale. He muted himself again.
He,
He'll get it
he's
right. He'll
he,
get it
he, he's being an Easter egg this morning. You got to hunt for him.
right. Dale, stop messing around. You there? Dale, he's right there. He unmuted himself again. Dale. All right. While we wait for Dale. Anyway, Lorraine, you heard the opening there. So hidden messages. What say you about that?
Yeah, and it's interesting as to why do authors, not all of them, but why do some authors put these Easter eggs in their books? And I think possibly for a couple reasons. Some authors like myself, I like to delve into a lot of urban legends. I've lived in a lot of locations across the country, and I use a lot of local urban legends and conspiracy theories, and I'll throw some of those in there. And then do readers do they are they interested? Do they like, oh my gosh, I have to look into this. So I think it might spark an interest in the reader, like, I gotta look this up. Is she, is this real what she's putting in here? So I think it might inspire the reader to go do more research, or did she really encounter this? So, I think that's sometimes why they will. And yes, I have put Easter eggs in a few of my books, which, yeah, I can talk about that later. We don't want to scare anybody off right now.
Let me try Dale again. Dale, you there? Dale, you unmuted. Dale. Yeah, he wasn't playing around. Dale. All right. One of the first points it says here, it says one point says pleasure for the reader. Everyone likes to feel smart, When a reader finds a subtle reference that requires insight, it gives that extra kick of pleasure to know that they get it on a deeper level. What say you, Eva?
Well, Michael, I have never really put any Easter eggs into my books. Um, I prefer eating them to putting them in books, actually. and, but no, no hidden messages in my books, Michael.
Interesting. Now, and you do that purposely?
No, not particularly.
Hmm.
I don't have that in my semi-consciousness or anything like that. Um, oh, I got that totally wrong. Um, no, I maybe now that I'm just learning about these hidden messages, maybe I will make more of a conscious effort to put them in the future.
Yeah, interesting. What say you, Jeff, about that first point I mentioned?
How about now? Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you're there. You're there.
Yeah, good morning, Dale. For me, I will put things that seem, when the reader comes across it, they might find it as a, a detail, and they don't really realize that it's kind of significant until they get further down. So it's not really an Easter egg, I guess. I mean, yeah, the reader doesn't know why there's 15 crows on the telephone line, he
Oh, I
or
get
or
it.
but later on, you start seeing this is in the sequel that isn't out yet, um,
Oh,
but to a giant tail. But later on, you start seeing the number 15 crop up again, and I would think by the third time the reader has caught on, and they start paying more attention. But I don't. Other than that, I don't hide stuff too much because um, my goal is to make things as readable as possible, and I don't want the reader scratching their head and going, "What does that mean?" And
Yeah, yeah.
throwing a little frustration at them, maybe or something. So I kind of don't do it in general.
Gotcha. What say you, Dale, about that first point I mentioned?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm getting double feedback here. Let me
Huh.
try this. How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Yes, thank you. Thank you for the question, Michael. I do. I am the Easter Bunny. I will hide eggs all through, from the titles, the names, the
They're used to money.
situations, yeah, references to other books, other writers, all kinds of things. If you are not paying attention, you can, it's not going to matter. But for those who are close readers, go, oh, look at that. So much fun. Callbacks to other things and references that are just fun little nuggets to put in because I do them for my own enjoyment and for the enjoyment of readers who will read closely and find it out. And if anybody asks, I go, you realize this happened? And they go, oh, wow, that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, second point the author says here reveal characters. It goes without saying that anything that evokes character in a meaningful way is valuable to writers and readers alike. Easter eggs are a succinct way for the writer to reveal character indirectly. What say you, Lala?
I think that's very true. And, with me writing paranormal and, writing about urban legends, I reveal, well, if you don't live in the area, you don't know some of these things. But, right now, the state of the world that we're in right now, we've got conspiracy theories coming up the wazoo,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yep.
people are like, oh, I got to watch this, I got to listen to this, whether it's aliens, whether it's government conspiracies. And I've in most, well, not most of my books, but I'm saying in my first book that I ever wrote, which was Mysteries of the Red Coyote Inn, it was about yeah, it was a young adult, and it took place in the very mysterious Superstition Mountains. And I revealed a lot of the things that I heard, I saw. I went into as far as mentioned that there was a secret government lab hidden under there. And I'm like, oh my God, am I going to get in trouble for this, or am I going to spark more curiosity for readers to go and, maybe want to, I had a sequel to that book, buy my book, or, look up some of the conspiracy theories. And then when I did my trilogy, and Eva will know this, I don't know, I think I've told her the story. I talk about secret cults, and right now I know there's a lot of conspiracies, about Hollywood joining secret cults and government officials and cults and Bohemian Grove and sex trafficking. And, actually, even though the books are fiction, I do include some of those Easter eggs in those books. So, when I did that, I thought, am I going to get, like flagged or anything? But so far, everything's been all good.
Cool. What say you, Eva, about that second point I made?
Oh, well, I have read Lorraine's Women of the Willow Wood trilogy, and it is absolutely amazing.
Thank
And
you, Eva.
yes, she's taught me all about um, some of the witchcraft cults and everything. And in actual fact, though I don't have anything like that in my trilogy, I'm about to release a book over the next few weeks. It's a collection of my short stories, and I have started um, going down the paranormal route with my writing. And in this collection of short stories, I do have Lorraine helped guide me on it actually. Um, it's the story is called Beyond the Mist, and I've done that short story in two parts. And in the second part, um, it's sort of along the lines of sci-fi meets paranormal. And Lorraine very kindly guided me with some of the witchcraft things because I'm really getting into this paranormal thing now and thoroughly enjoying every minute of it. So, yes, that could be the route that I'm going down in the very near future.
Interesting.
And she's
Jeff,
done
what
it.
say
Thank
you about that?
you, Eva.
What say you, Jeff, about that point?
Uh, well, I heard your question is, are there little things that show character? And so I do that. And for example, uh, you know, I have the protagonist who's Fern and his friend's driving in a car, and this fly lands on Fern's forearm, and he kind of looks at it, and his instinct is to smack it. And then he kind of thinks about it, and he just opens the window without saying anything and kind of brushes the fly out. And it's a little glimmer of his character, and so I find that very, very useful, and I try to do that frequently throughout the book.
Interesting. What say you, Dale, about that point I made?
Yeah, Jeff brings up a very good point. Subtle is always good. Instead of telling them what a character is like, you show them what it's like. And I do that with my characters as well. Those in the know certain things and make references to show the reader that they know what's going on. When you want to show something different, you may make a reference within the story, and someone goes, "What's that?" And that both shows you can explain it further for those who don't know, and you're showing the character of the person who's missing out on that already. So, yes, that's a very important point, to be helpful to the reader, to kind of lead them along. And you're not over explaining, but you're not doing info dumps, but you are giving them just enough so that they know what's going on and don't get lost and have to ask a lot of questions.
Interesting. What say you about that, Lorraine?
Yeah, I think Dale's correct because you want to give little clues. All like, you want to leave little breadcrumbs here and there, and I think sometimes they call that foreshadowing, possibly. But yeah, you don't want to give it away because you want to keep that reader interested in that character. Like, oh my God, okay, why did she do that? Why did he do that? Like, for instance, in my Mysteries of the Red Coyote Inn, my boy hero, why does he go into the superstitions? Why does he take on a job? I don't know if y'all have heard of, there's a gold mine, a famous gold mine, the Lost Dutchman gold mine. There's supposed to be hidden gold back in there from that the Spanish left. And lots of people have gone back there and have tried to look for the gold and died. Apparently there's curses going on back there, and there's alien bases and government bases. But I had to have my character believe in this and go in there, and he kind of saw signs, and he would see like visions of like a white lady she was like the guardian, and he would see the visions of these Native American men, and he met an old miner, and all of these little things had to get him he had to buy into his journey. So that's why I did that.
Interesting. Eva, the next point the author makes, it says sneaky way to foreshadow. Authors can foreshadow plot using Easter eggs. What say you?
Well, as I've already mentioned, Michael, I don't use any Easter eggs in my trilogy, but I will be using them in the future. My characters they grow as the trilogy progresses. They grow and then completely um, change character or become somebody different, which they're not becoming somebody different. That was there within them all along, but just starting to show, uh, things in the end, which was the character that has always been within them. But yeah, there was certain elements to their character that weren't revealed in the beginning.
Interesting.
Um, I don't know if that fully answers the question. Um, yeah.
What say you, Jeff?
Um, I'm trying to get my brain around what we're talking about. Are you referring to like mysteries that when the reader first reads it, they they don't quite see things, but they're gradually revealed as you read the book? Is that kind of like
I
what you're
guess that's
referring
what
to?
this author's trying to say. It's just a sneaky way to foreshadow. Authors can foreshadow plot using Easter eggs, meaning a great example of egg turn foreshadowing can be seen in the, say, television series Breaking Bad. During a
Right.
scene in which Walter White is watching Scarface, this simple
Yes.
short scene hints the Walter's dramatic character. So something like that in that format.
Okay. Well, yeah, I will do things like going back to the number 15 that's in the sequel, the lady and the spider witch. Um, there's 15 birds on the line. Then later on, the main character Fern discovers this sort of like little chest. It's a small little chest, and when they finally, he can't open it, but his girlfriend can, which I thought was an interesting tell on her character, that somehow she was able to open it. But there's 15 coins inside it. Okay, there's that number 15 again. And then they start looking at the coins, trying to make sense out of them. Some of them are ancient coins from Rome. Some are ancient
Oh,
coins from India. Some are more modern coins, dated 1945. And so a big part of the rest of the book is them trying to discover, well, why are these modern coins in there? And what does all this mean? And gradually they begin to understand the importance of the dates and what occurred in history. And it's a foreshadow of what may be coming in modern times. So I think if that's the sort of the kind of foreshadowing you're referring to, then yeah, for sure I use that.
What say you, Dale, about that third point?
I think the Breaking Bad was an excellent choice because that's a masterclass in
oh yeah.
revealing information and character study and story progression. In the very first episode, Walter White is addressing a class and he says the line, "It's about transformation." He's speaking of a chemical reaction, but that sets the tone for the whole show. And when they did that, I sat back and went, brilliant. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. Yes, what you need to do if a character has an ability or some particular quirk that's going to come up later, what you do is you let the reader know beforehand. Like if they're going to be an archer and they're going to use archery to get out of a situation or use it in some format, you have to introduce that early. I always tell people in manuscript critiques, if you are going to say something about their physical appearance, say it early before the reader has time to form an opinion about what color or anything. When the Hardy Boys, I always got Frank and Joe. I saw them different. One was blonde and one was dark hair, and I went, "Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute." And you want to reduce the confusion. You want to introduce anything which is going to be special, anything which might have an impact upon their character or the action or the plot. Yes, the Easter eggs can be buried in lists, put in offhand remarks, put in as Easter eggs, which when it comes in later on, somebody goes, oh, it's kind of like The Sixth Sense. When you find out that every scene he was in, there was the color red indicating the death, you go, now I get it. It doesn't mean anything at the time, but afterwards you realize just how important it was.
Interesting. Anybody, anything else on that third point?
Yeah, that's what's so wonderful of going back and rereading a book that you really, really enjoy, is because then a lot of those things you realize right away. You know, like, wow, yeah, that statement by White that, about transformation, that's going to have it. By the way, in the very first episode, they show him walking out after class and stepping down the stairs outside of the building. That was the building I used to teach. And,
Oh,
Wow.
and yeah,
wow.
and it's great throughout the series. You see all these buildings in
I always knew
Albuquerque
Jeff was a
places.
gangster.
Yeah, no, but it's fun to drive around town, and you see, oh, that's the house that
Yep.
I forget what his sidekick's name was, but Jesse. Oh, that's the house Jesse had, and so on.
Interesting. Eva, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're doing well. You got anything
She's
else on that?
wonderful.
Yes. You got
No,
anything on
not particularly. I find myself a little bit out of depth with this.
No, you're not.
that? No, you're good. You're good. Okay, well, the next point, the author says, it says, pleasure for the reader. When a reader revisits a book, those elusive eggs become easier to spot. They're more fun for the second time around because they give the reader the satisfaction of knowing that the author was playing fair from the beginning by leaving helpful indications. What say you about that, Eva?
Sorry?
Did you get that? Did you get what I
No,
said? All
no,
right,
I
I'm gonna
didn't. Sorry,
read it.
Michael.
Okay. It says the fourth point says pleasure for the reader. When a reader revisits a book, those elusive eggs become easier to spot. They're more fun the second time around because they give the rereader the satisfaction of knowing that the author is playing fair from the beginning by leaving helpful indications. What say you?
Yes, actually, I have found that myself, Michael, because I know you get people out there who don't like rereading books. I do. Um, I get my money's worth when I buy books because I do. If I thoroughly enjoy them, I will read them again and again and again. And yes, it is pleasurable when you read it a second, maybe third, fourth time, and then you start seeing things that you should have spotted the first time around, but you didn't because you were that immersed in the story that you weren't looking for any hidden treasures. Um, but yes, when you start spotting them, it is a great pleasure. And that is why I do like revisiting books again and again.
That's pretty cool. What say you, Jeff?
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said, and um, I, I'm I want to go back to something Dale said about characters and not knowing. You form your own image of them, and then if the author doesn't tell you, in some way early on what they look like and so on, and you find out much later, and it's kind of hard then because you come to visualize them, say, as blonde, and now you find out they have black hair and so on. But what I'm having fun with in a book I'm working on right now is it's about a high school kid, and he's in a band, and so his bandmates, the bass player, well, they call him Bass. So he was pretty clear throughout the book. If you can't remember, if I called him, Joseph, halfway through the book, somebody may go, wait, now which one was Joseph? The drummer is called Sticks, and they all have nicknames. And the keyboard player is called Eggy, because,
Cool.
not because so much because he's a keyboard player, as because he's an egghead. He's the intellectual of the group,
Yeah,
and so hopefully that kind of adds to what Dale was saying about describing your characters.
what say you, Dale?
Yeah, this is great. In a current work, one of my current works, I'm doing a retelling of the Odyssey. And boy, there's so many Easter eggs in there. If you know the story, it's like, oh, I know what that is. Oh, I know what that is. It's just one after the other to reveal and to show you the parallels of modern day between someone coming home after 20 years and the trials of Odysseus, who went through all of those adventures before he was able to return home. So that's one of the example of the kind of things I love to do and put that in my works.
Interesting. Interesting. Anybody else? Anything on that?
I think he's right about that. Like I said, alluding to not only what a character looks like, but their actions. Why is the character all of a sudden walking into the room and he looks at a kachina, he knows, okay, this kachina's for this kachina's for that. And then later on, the reader finds out, oh, that's why he did that. Why did he have to go and put salt around his mother's room? Or you allude to little characteristics that later on the reader's going to find out, that's why they did that.
Interesting. Now, do you guys think anyone could answer? You guys think that hidden messages will work in any genre?
I do. I do.
Yeah, if they're done properly, sure. That's part of the skill of what we bring to the table when we're telling a story.
I don't
Interesting.
know. I think some genres, um, I couldn't, for instance, I couldn't imagine any hidden messages, or Easter eggs as you call them, being used in erotica? What hidden messages
No, that's
could
true. Yeah,
what
That's a good
hidden
point there.
messages
Yeah.
could you actually put
that
in?
might be a hard one.
A
Yeah, that
person,
would
a
be.
person walks into a room and sees a set of spiked handcuffs. That's
There
that's
you
an
go,
Easter egg right there.
I think I think the hidden message there would be run.
Yeah, but again, that
Somebody's
tells you
life.
something. That tells you something. Does the person notice it and think about it, or do
That's
they
true.
ignore it because that's just commonplace for them? This is an
That's
example of
true.
the use of Easter eggs in practically anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So you guys believe that it'll definitely help the authors with their writing if they have these messages?
I,
I see it being useful in my future writing. Now we've actually discussed this. Um, that's that sets the mind thinking. Uh, oh, what hidden messages could I put in this? And I think it's something I will look at in future. Definitely.
I do. I think it's a good point. It's a good key point for not only newbie authors, but ones that have been around a while to think, even before we're writing the story, maybe make some keynotes. I'm going to throw this in. I'm going to throw this Easter egg in. So I think it's very valuable.
Yes, it's if you read the works of someone like James Joyce, it's nothing but Easter eggs.
Mm,
That is explaining what's going on, which doesn't seem to be a commonplace narrative without these little issues hidden in there. The more you know about Catholicism and the history of Ireland and Irish mythology,
I
and
love it.
the uh, map of Dublin, then so much more becomes apparent to the reader. And with him, it's almost like you need a reader's companion to be able to decipher all of these things. You don't have to do it to that level. I mean, a few is nice. Again, seasoning of a dish rather than overpowering with spices.
Right,
Interesting.
right.
True.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, you can
I,
overdo it.
yeah, I think like I can't get through Ulysses by James Joyce because it's kind of like a book can be the equivalent of a ski slope, and you have the beginner's slope. Then you have I forget how they do it. There's a color. There's a diamond, blue diamond, I think.
Black Diamond is for the really
Mm,
dangerous ones.
Yeah, yeah, and I think if you put a lot of these Easter eggs in to the point where, as Dale was saying, you might want a companion to the book so that you can look up what might this be about or what might that be about.
right.
Nothing but
It,
Googles.
it, if you have an overwhelming number of those things, you're talking about the Black Diamond ski slope, and I prefer something in between beginner and the next level up on skiing. I like it. I like to be able to read. Um, I think it also has to do with your level of knowledge. Like, let's say if you're an expert in archaeology, and the book is just filled with all sorts of references to various archaeological things, then it's going to be really enjoyable for you.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
but but for a novice, someone who doesn't know anything about archaeology, it could be a bit of a rough ride. It's like a
Yeah,
beginner going down the Black Diamond slope
right,
and
right.
ending up
Right.
crashing.
Good
So you guys
analogy.
believe? Do you guys believe it can? These messages can throw the reader off and confuse them.
If not done properly, certainly. But you never know what piece of information the reader will have. Someone once commented that I put the word dojo in, which is very
Mm,
commonplace for a martial arts studio. And they
right.
said,
Yep.
nobody's going to know what that is. And I said, well, they could learn.
Well,
You
if
know,
it causes them to do
we
it,
do
then
have
so
Google, and it'll take about 8 seconds if you really didn't know
exactly.
You
what
can
that
learn.
was,
It
and it was in
causes them to look it
context
up.
as well. And if you really didn't know, you could find out. I don't mind gentle education on simple things.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, Dale.
Yeah, I agree with that. In fact, I was talking to another writer recently, and they were saying they always love it when they come across something intriguing in a book, but they don't know quite what it is. And so it gives them a little research project, and they go off and they look it up, or Google it. And she really enjoys it.
I
And I,
do as well when I'm reading. I do like to find fun stuff, and that's why I love opening the Easter eggs of good writers.
yeah, me too.
Interesting.
It causes me to go do more research on. I got to go look this up. What is this?
Yeah, Lorraine,
All right,
don't
the last.
complain when my Superstition Mountains novel comes out, because I lived out in
Okay.
Phoenix and I've
Did
wanted to set a book there. And there's
you?
so much. You could set a whole series there of books in
Yes.
different genres. I just love the whole concept of that. And it's such a long time mystery, and the Lost Dutchman mind and
Oh
the
my.
ghosts and the curses. Oh yeah,
Oh
you could just
my.
go on and on.
I am so into it. I'm there. I am there.
Nice. All
Well,
right.
Lorraine,
Yes, Eva.
I need you to teach me more about the
Eva.
Superstition
Teach you,
You know
Mountain.
Lorraine.
what? No. Let me tell you, Eva's fantastic, and she was talking about this next short story that she's got, which I read, Into the Mist. Let me tell you, she's got some little Easter eggs there. We're going into other realms and aliens. No, she's on it. She's on it.
So, do you
Now,
Yeah,
think
I
Lorraine,
an
want.
author?
hold
Do you
on.
guys
If
think
she
an
wrote
author? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if she wrote Into the Mystic with a reference to Van Morrison,
Yeah,
that would be an Easter egg right there.
there you go.
Ah. So, do you guys think a writer or an author can write a hidden message without even realizing it?
Oh yeah.
I
Hmm.
think that's highly likely. Yeah.
I think
Interesting.
Eva, this is where your psychic mediumship comes in. It ties into that, don't you think so?
Yes, I do. But
Knowing. Hmm.
I
And
mean,
that's where the subconscious comes in. When we're writing, the good stuff is accessed via the subconscious. And if you don't know what it is, and sometimes people will read into your work and you're like, ah, I didn't know that. Oh, cool. It
Well,
yeah.
Interesting.
happens.
I appreciated Stephen King in The Shining. I
uh,
didn't catch on right away, but he was writing red rum, red rum, red
mhm.
rum.
Yeah.
The guy who's starting to lose his mind, and then it clicked. About the third time I saw the word, I realized, it was murder
Oh
backwards.
boy,
Murder. Yeah. Love that movie. I love it.
I know.
All right. The last point the author makes says art begets art. Not only is this art begets art a simply beautiful, enriching phenomenon, but it also adds depth and weight to your work. What say you? Anybody?
Well, you can look at painting, because if you can decode what the painter was trying to get at, you know a lot more. The works of Salvador Dali have so many hidden things that he was referencing.
Oh,
Medieval iconography, if you
mhm.
know the picture of the saint and why they're holding that flower or that particular book, you know so much more and you get a deeper appreciation.
That's so true. And artists, especially ones that do abstract or whatever they do, they leave messages in their work, just like we do in our writing.
And they definitely leave a lot of feeling
They
too.
do.
And
They do.
I think as a writer, I try to do that because if I'm feeling it, then hopefully the reader's feeling it. Another good example, it maybe doesn't deal with art as much, but this character in the book I'm working on now keeps having these dreams, and Eggy, who's the egghead, the intellectual one, he knows a lot about Freud, and so he tells them, he interprets the dreams, and says, well, this represents this, this is your like he's on an iceberg, he goes, the part underwater, that's your subconscious, and so on. And so I think the reader will really enjoy that, because we all wonder about, well, what the heck's going on in our dreams?
Right.
What say you, Eva?
Yes, well, I have asked Lorraine on several occasions to interpret some weird dreams that I've had, and Lorraine's very knowledgeable on dreams.
Oh, thank you,
And
Eva.
oh, you are, honestly. I mean, you are so knowledgeable on everything. Um, as I say, you gave me a little bit of an insight into Superstition Mountains, for instance, and now I want to know more. So the next time we chat on the phone, Lorraine, you know
Mm-hmm.
what's expected of you.
Oh, I've got a story to tell, and it's one that I didn't put in my book because it happened to
Yeah.
me, and the story wasn't about me. But thank you, Eva.
Better
Well,
get it straight.
You're welcome.
according to Freud, all the dreams are about sex anyway. So there
That's
you go.
right. That's right,
Oh,
Dale.
crikey.
You know, what was fascinating though is I wrote the dream first. I didn't know what Freud's interpretation of it was, and it dealt with a trap door in the ice, and it led down way deep into the ice, and there was music coming up from it, and all of this, and many other things. And when I read Freud's interpretation of the things in the dream, um, I realized that's why I put it in the dream. I knew when I was writing it, it just felt right. Say to have this trap door and another character standing there pointing at it and so on. But then when I read what Freud's interpretation of it was, I realized that's why I wrote that, because I wanted some sort of tie in with certain feelings, certain emotions, and so on.
Yeah, I wrote The Hero's Journey before I read Joseph Campbell. And after reading Campbell, I went, oh, so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. See?
So,
Yeah.
anybody have any last words regarding the topic, hidden messages or Easter eggs?
Well, this is why we do what we do, to discover more about ourselves and our stories. And the more fun you can have with it, the more layers you can put in it, I think you're making a much richer meal for those who are trying to consume it.
I agree. And I think when you're writing, sometimes when we're writing, and a lot of us like I'm really big on outlining and I've got everything detailed, but yet when I sit down to write, something just overpowers me saying, and it's almost like automatic writing. I got to put this in here. There's a reason that we do that.
Mm-hmm.
And even you know about automatic writing. So
Yes,
It
yes.
just it's like it's like you have to put it in there. There's a reason we're putting it in there. It's for the is it for to move the story along? Is it for our benefit? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I agree with what everyone's saying, and it's sort of like with writing. You put in the trunk of the tree, and then you put in various branches, and then you start putting leaves on the tree, and you get to the point where these things that you were just talking about start to come up, where you want
Yeah.
in this scene, you want this certain little thing to bring it to the reader's attention.
Right.
Interesting. Anybody else? Dale, anything?
Well, I think we have explored the topic, and that's the nice thing. Each author does it differently for different reasons. Again, I enjoy doing it when I'm writing and reading about it when I'm reading someone else, and that's fine for me. The Easter eggs are what it's all about. I mean, look at the Marvel movies. They always throw that little teaser in at the
Yes.
end
Yes.
with the
Yep.
credits. So they make you sit through the credits, so you'll have to see that, and that gives you a hint as to what's coming up in something else. Love
Right.
those.
Yes. So Eva, you said you don't do this. You don't write hidden messages. But what have you learned in the last 45 minutes?
Well, quite a lot actually. And when I'm writing my, well, actually, I'm about to get back to a novel that's been on the back burner for a year or so. And once I've published the collection of short stories, which is going through the works at the minute, then I'm going to get back to one that's been on the back burner, and I'm going to start throwing a few hidden messages in there.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Who says this show isn't educational, huh? Who says?
Oh, A plus.
Yes, A plus.
But you guys are
Well,
great. You guys, I give you insight, your expertise, if you will, because y'all know more than me. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing.
Oh, Michael, I
well,
think you've
I
got
just
some experience
listen.
in your stories.
yeah. Well, I've been in the dunces corner today.
No,
Wow.
absolutely not. Absolutely
You did
not.
a great
And
job.
Michael, you know enough to get the very best. So there you go. That's a
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah, you guys are great. I really enjoy listening
It's
to you
been a
guys.
great show. It really has.
I drink my coffee, just listen. You know what I mean? Throw a little question here and there. So
Can we have
before
an
we go, you
easier
guys got
topic next week,
anything
Michael?
going? Any of you guys got anything special going before we go?
I'm going back to edit. I got my manuscript back from the editor, and I've got 4 more chapters to go, and then I send it into the publisher, and I'm ready to go.
There you go. Anybody else?
Well, mine's all ready to upload. I'm going to
Yay.
upload it to Ingram Spark. I'm going to upload it to Amazon, and it will be released on the 25th of April.
There
Wonderful.
you go. Nice, nice. Jeff, Dale, you got anything?
I had my first brick and mortar mall signing with a bunch of authors, and that turned out very well
Ah,
because there's so
Wonderful.
much foot traffic, and it's intriguing for people to go, oh, let me walk by. And since I have the best covers, it catches the eye, and the sales are
he's
terrific.
the best
Sure.
service.
Oh,
Nothing
it's
wrong with
it's
that.
absolutely what you need. I mean, if they're walking by displays, it can look like generic. And then when they
Yeah.
see something that really catches their eye, and they look at the banner and they look at the covers, and then they stop, and then you have the conversation. And if I have the
Nice.
conversation and they're readers of any particular genre that I have, which is a lot, we can make the sale.
That's cool.
Go.
Well, congratulations, Jeff.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's cool. Jeff, you got anything
That
going?
is cool.
Yeah, I've done some book signings, and I find there's a synergy when you have a group of you in a bookstore.
Hmm.
The last one I did, there were 4 of us, and it's a much more enjoyable experience for the authors. And I think it really affected sales. It was a very good, worthwhile experience.
Nice, nice. Well, you guys were awesome. Definitely gotta bring you back to the next topic, whatever that is. Well, I'll figure it out. But you guys are
I'm
great.
sure you will. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Michael.
Yes,
Thank you,
thank you.
everyone. It's been a
Thank
Thank you,
pleasure.
you.
guys.
It
You guys are
has.
Bye,
great.
everyone.
Thank you.
Wow.
Bye bye.
Lorraine
Have a
Bye
good
Carey,
one.
bye.
Jeff
Bye.
Otis, Eva Bielby, and Dale Phillips. You guys are great. Dale, you had your coffee today?
Yes, I had to have a second cup because, again, my knee pain kept me up last night after only a few hours of sleep. So
Ah,
yeah, and then everybody in the world wanted to phone me this morning. So it's wow, here we go.
jeez. Yeah, yeah. I've already had 4 cups. I don't know if I'm going for a fifth.
Woo,
I better cut that out,
wow.
man.
How's your blood pressure?
My blood pressure, well, I got to take my pill every morning. You know how that goes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
okay.
every third cup should be decaf. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That coffee I drink is pretty strong, but you know what? It is what it is. You know? It is what it is. All right, Dale. Well, you have a good one, and until next time.
Excellent. Bye now.
All right, bye. Wow, great show. Great topic. Great authors. I love their insight. I love their knowledge regarding the subject. It's pretty cool. Pretty good to have these great authors in to listen and pretty much give their insight on what the subject is. It's always enjoyable. I really love it, and I hope you folks out there, your listeners, enjoy it as well. I hope it teaches you something regarding writing, what hidden things and things you can learn when you're writing a story. It's pretty cool. Hidden messages, Easter eggs. That's awesome. I think it was a great show, great topic. Anyway, it's been awesome. I really enjoyed my panel. Again, Lorraine Carey, Jeff Otis, Eva Bielby, and Dale Phillips. Thanks again for joining, and I want to thank you guys out there for listening in. Oh, and thank you again. I hit 10,000 downloads. I think it was yesterday or the day before that. 10,000 downloads. That's a lot. To me, that's a lot. I remember when I first started, I was like, oh man, this ain't going to get far, but boy, that it has changed within just a little bit over a year. It's been awesome. Thanks to folks like the panel I had today, and you folks out there that are listening and sharing my work to others so they can listen as well. Without you guys, there is no podcast. So I want to thank everyone. You guys are fantastic. Anyway, it's been a great show, and it's a beautiful day. Enjoy it, folks. Enjoy it. Enjoy the weather. And just take it easy out there. Stay safe. And you know what I say? Don't forget your coffee. Have a great one.